Hello, sunshine and happy people. Sean from Board World here, and as you can see, I got on the nice dapper suit and tie today, but that ain't why. It's because we mean business. We're here to build piston doors, 4x4 piston doors. So the first thing you're going to want to do is map this out so that way it fits in whatever build you're trying to accomplish. It is 14 long, it's 6 deep, and it is 15 tall, including the redstone on the top. So mark yourself out a little kind of jig-jag area like this so you know where you're building. Come to the corner, you're going to count 3 in and 3 over and put a block here. Same thing with this side, 3 in and 1, 2, 3 over, block right there. You're going to place 2 blocks, and then 2 blocks coming off of those. 2 blocks up, 2 blocks back, and then 2 blocks off the back blocks. Break these 2 blocks in the front. You don't need those. Those are temporary blocks. What we're going to do next is we're going to get our droppers. We're going to put our droppers here, and we're going to put our droppers here in that crevasse right there. We're going to get out our observers. We're going to put observers in these locations, facing them droppers just like that. Get our solid blocks. We're going to put our solid blocks right in between like so, and run a row of solid blocks right here. And this is what it should look like when you get it done. Go to this block here, drop a lever. We're going to come over here. We're going to put a repeater right here. 4 ticks delay, repeater in front of this one on 3. Same thing on this side, repeater, 4 ticks delay, repeater on 3. Then we're going to put some redstone dust on all of these blocks, just like this. And that is what it should look like at this step of the process. What we're going to do next, we're going to flip around to the back. We got to put temporary block here, put a block above it. We're going to break that block, do the same thing on the other side. Then we're going to get out our torches. We're going to put a torch on top of this block, block on top of that torch. Torch on the side of that block, block on top of that torch. Torch on the inside of that block, block on top of that torch. Block on the outside of that block, block on top of this torch. Now you're going to swing to the other side. You're going to put a torch on this block, and you're going to put a block on top of that torch. Then you're going to swing to the other side. You're going to put a torch on the inside there, and then you're going to put a block on top of that. You're going to put a torch on top of this block on top of this torch. Swing around to this side. You need a torch on the inside of there, and a block right on top of that. And those are some pretty complicated torch towers, but this will run the power for the entire system. So let's go ahead and we'll build the exact same thing on the other side. So follow with me. Torch on top, block on top of the torch. You're going to go to the outside of the build, torch, block on top of the torch, inside of the build, torch on that block on top of this torch. Torch on this block, then we're going to put a block on top of this torch. Swing around to the other side. Torch on top of that, or on side of that block, block on top of that torch. Torch on the inside, block on top of this torch. It's a lot to do, guys. Torch on top of the block on top of the torch. Torch on the inside, and then a block on top of that. And there you have your 2 torch towers all in place. That runs the power for the entire system. Congratulations, you're done. So you just got to come to the top here, get you a block on each side here. Then we're going to do our old dropper into the observer trick. So droppers in those locations, and then an observer coming out of each one of those droppers, and then a block to the inside, just like that. We're going to take our redstone dust. You want redstone dust on these 2 blocks on the top, and these 2 blocks on the top as well. And then what you should have is something that looks exactly like this. What we want to do next is we want to put in our timing system for the top. So go to this weird block that's sticking in just right here. Then we're going to go 2 blocks off of that to the back, and then 2 blocks like that off to the front. We're going to get repeaters. We're going to put a repeater right here on 4 tick delay. We're going to put a repeater right here on 3 tick delay. We're going to put our redstone dust in these locations. We're going to spin around here, temporary block above it. Break this block. We're going to put a torch above that block, and then also on the side of that block to the inside, just like that. So you got 2 torches on the same block. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Weird block, 2 blocks, and then 2 blocks out to the front, just like that. Repeater, 4 tick delay. Repeater going this way, 3 tick delay. Redstone dust here and here. Temporary block, block above it. Torch on the top, and a torch on the inside of that same block, just like that. So now we're going to put in our block swappers. Well, that's what I call them. I don't know what anybody else calls them. So we need our pistons here. And what we're going to do first is we're going to shift click a piston on top of this repeater, just like that. Then we're going to put a piston on the head of that piston. Do the same thing on the other side. Shift click on top of this repeater. That should extend. That's how we know we did it right. Put a piston on the head, just like that. We're going to get out our observers next. We're going to have an observer facing down with the flasher facing up on the bottom pistons on each side, just like that. Next, we're going to get redstone dust and put them on top of those pistons so we extend the pistons that are on the heads. Everything should be extended if you build it right. Now go to the top. We're going to put pistons on top of this torch here, that inside torch on the side. Then we're going to take our observer and we're going to face it up with the flasher facing down. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to put our piston on top of that torch, get our observer, and the observer's face is going to be up. The flasher will be down. Now we're going to take pistons, stick one right on the side of that torch, and stick one right on the side of this torch. Same thing on the other side. Piston on top of this torch, piston on that torch. And that's what everything should look like. Everything should be extended if you have the power right. If it's not extended, you did the torch towers wrong. Now we're going to put in our double piston extenders. So we need 2 pistons there, 2 pistons there, and the same thing with the top. 2 pistons here, 2 pistons here. Now we need to do the wiring for the bottom piston extenders so we can get these things linked up. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a piston and we're going to stick it face down just like that. And then we're going to put a torch right beside it. That piston will extend. You put an observer facing out with the flasher facing in, and then we need 3 blocks right here. What we're going to do next, we're going to get repeaters. We need an 8 tick delay, so we got 4 tick delay here, another repeater, another 4 tick delay. That makes 8. We're going to skip a block in the middle, and then this is where we're going to build our pulse extender. So build this little T pattern, break that middle block out just like that. You're going to put a comparator facing this way, right on that block, and then just cover all this in the old redstone dust, just like so. Easy enough. What we're going to do next is we need to get power to these bottom pistons and the top pistons. So put 2 blocks like that, 2 blocks like that. We're going to need repeaters facing inward off of both of these blocks. And then we're going to need redstone dust in this location and redstone dust here. Notice how that powers the pulse extender. What you need to do is place this block on top, and that'll alleviate that problem. Make sure you get that block. Very important. Come to the bottom of your piston, put a temporary block here. We need 2 blocks down and diagonal to the blocks underneath the pistons. So put them like that. We need repeaters on 4 ticks delay. Both of those to the bottom blocks. And we need blocks above them. So put 2 blocks like that and break that temporary block. Put redstone dust on top of both of those. We need observers facing into those repeaters, facing upward. So put 2 observers just like that with the flashers facing up, and then blocks on top of both of those. Do you see how it powers those pistons? If you've done everything right, it should power the pistons. What we need to do next is we need to get target blocks, and we need to put our target blocks on top of these blocks right here. Now we need to get glass blocks, because we need to build a glass staircase for this redstone on this back side. So we're going to put glass blocks off of the blocks underneath the target blocks, temporary blocks here, and then we're going to put glass blocks right there. Break your temporary block, and then just cover all of this with redstone dust. And this is kind of in the middle of your doorway, so you're going to have to put a carpet on top of this block and probably the other block. I did my best with it. That's the best I can come up with. All right, well, now you have your bottom block swappers all in place, and that will take care of the entire bottom section of your 4x4 piston door. It is now time to put the block swappers in at the top. So let's get our observers out, and we'll get these double piston extenders linked up. So let's put observer facing up, flasher facing down off of both of those pistons. What we're going to do is put repeaters on top of those observers, both on 4 ticks delay. We're going to get our temporary block out. We're going to put a temporary block here and then a block here, break that block, and then we're going to put a block here. We're going to put redstone dust on top of those blocks so those observers can power those blocks below right here. That's what's going to make your double piston fire, essentially. What you're going to do next is we need a pulse extender. So you're going to build your pulse extender, put your center block here, and build your T-shape in just like this. Then what you're going to do, again, break that middle block. We're going to put a comparator right here. We're going to put redstone dust on top of these 3 blocks. Then we're going to go to this bottom block over here. We're going to build 3 blocks out from this bottom block, and we're going to break this block because we don't need it. We're going to put a repeater here on 4 tick delay. We're going to put a repeater here on 4 tick delay. Then we need another temporary block off of this block, and then a piston here, which should extend. All the pistons should extend if you build it right. Next, we need an observer facing out with the flasher facing towards the repeaters, and that is the system for our double piston extenders on the top. One final step is we need these top pistons to power just like the bottom pistons do. So we're going to grab a redstone block here, and we're going to put 2 redstone blocks, one here and one here. And the final step, all we have to do now is we have to install the 4 pistons on each side. So first we're going to come to the right side. We're going to pick this torch right above that piston, go to the side of it. You want a piston coming right off the side of that torch, and then 3 on top, just like so, and they should all power. Piston off the side of this torch, 3 on top. And if they're not powered, there's something wrong. Once again, check your torch towers, and if you have done everything right, you have yourself a 4x4 piston door. You can start filling this thing in with the design of your choice, whatever you like aesthetically. I'm going to use blue concrete for the purposes of this build, but let's see how it opens. Let's check it out. Looks pretty good. Everything looks in place. Let's give her a flick of the lever. And there's our opening sequence. Looks really good. Let's give her another flick of the lever here. And we'll get our closing sequence. Yeah, it looked pretty good. And if you want to put a switch in this thing, all you need to do is go ahead and run your T flip-flop to any bit of this redstone down here on the bottom. It'll work just fine. Well, folks, that's the 4x4 piston door. I hope this video was helpful to you. Hopefully some of you actually have this 4x4 in your world. If you do, I'd appreciate a like, comment, maybe even subscribe to the channel. I got a lot more builds underway. We're working on a 5x5 piston door, but I need to make this whole system one wide tileable, and it's a little bit difficult in Bedrock. But we really appreciate your time. It was really fun hanging out with you guys playing Minecraft today. And we'll see you guys next time. Now get out of here, you bums.